Well, if he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right? You know who said?
What's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there, just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, you know, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh.
You know?
Sounds rough, man.
Well, it's just amazing how many people on the Diddy party list that are supporting Kamala. Too.
Yeah, seriously. It's like insane.
Publicly, openly, like all in.
Yes. It's like J-Lo was like his ex-girlfriend. and it's like now deciding she's like warning people against Trump. I'm like, well, wait a second. So how many people did she warn against Diddy?
Right.
Oh, 0. Okay.
Right.
Well, maybe we shouldn't trust her opinion.
Joe Rogan, Terrence Howard, and Katt Williams just snapped after a series of disturbing files linked to Diddy surfaced. Even Elon Musk has chimed in, firing subtle warning shots toward certain white celebs allegedly trying to quietly dip out the country before their names pop up. But let's be real for a second, everything here is based on speculation. What online sources are saying, and what insiders are whispering, I'm just reporting what's already out there. So don't shoot the messenger. Now, the latest tea spilling from inside the prison where Diddy's being held. Apparently, he's seriously considering flipping if it means saving his own skin. And if you believe what Joe Rogan, Terrence, and Katt are hinting at, some familiar A-list names might be about to catch strays when Diddy opens up the name that nobody expected to come up. Uncle Steve Harvey. Word on the street is, the moment Steve caught wind of Diddy's federal charges, he didn't just leave quietly, he vanished. Packed up, went ghost, scrubbed his socials clean. Even deleted an old 2017 tweet praising Diddy as a brother doing good for the kids. Yeah, that tweet aged like milk. Let's not forget Steve used to move like everything was cool. He was vacationing in Italy with Diddy and Lori Harvey, who, by the way, was dating Diddy after breaking up with Diddy's own son, Justin. Messi doesn't even begin to cover it. But what made people raise eyebrows? A photo of Lori with white nail polish. Sounds harmless until you connect the dots. In her lawsuit, Cassie claimed Diddy forced women around him to wear white nails during his so-called freak-offs so the visuals would pop more on his twisted recordings. That same white polish showed up on Young Miami, even Diddy's mother. So now folks are asking, did Steve really not know? Or was he playing the game for power in Hollywood? At the time, Diddy was worth $1 billion, running Revolt TV, and had deep ties with industry elites. That's why people believe if Diddy starts talking, Steve's fast exit might finally make sense. Now let's talk Meek Mill. Since Diddy's arrest, Meek's been radio silent, which is odd considering their close history. Remember that poolside clip Diddy calling Meek daddy, telling him he loved him? Yeah, it's not looking like a joke anymore. That video didn't age well.
If you don't mind me asking, because I know the topic is sensitive, what happened to Usher?
I heard about some music executive from the industry back in Harlem. You know, I heard it from some music executives back in Harlem. And I'm not going to speak on their name. They doing programs and everything like that, and they may be doing some, they may speak on it themselves. But I heard it from some music executives.
What did you hear?
Bro, you know how people be talking, and we was around some people, something like that, and then some people might say, yo, I don't F with that dude. And at the time, I didn't even know who the F Usher was. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those type of situations. And when people say, yo, man, I don't F with them, I'm getting out that industry and everything like that. You know, Puff sent this little kid to the hospital. How he sent him to the hospital? Man, nigga was bleeding from the, and that's what was said. I didn't even have a name for the kid at the time. Then you hear it, and that's what happened. So, and just to hear this, and this new thing where they saying that they got kids coming forward and said that he did that, man, that shit is crazy. And like I just said, you know, that's just something that I heard.
And just when the lawsuits started naming names, Meek dipped quick. Let's not forget Lil Rod, who also filed a lawsuit against Diddy, said Diddy was giving Meek deals in exchange for other things. Once the lawsuits hit the net, Meek jetted off to Africa, dropping cryptic tweets like he was dodging a bullet. One tweet even said he'd pay $100,000 to find out who was trying to tie his name to Diddy. But the internet wasn't buying. If they say he's just doing damage control because he might have been caught on Fed-level footage, and if that's true, it's only a matter of time before things come to light when the trial begins. Meek's playing clueless, but the internet sees right through it. Same goes for Usher, who's reportedly been panicking behind the scenes. Usher's ties to Diddy go way back. When Usher was just 13, he was part of what insiders now call Diddy Flavor Camp, and according to folks who were there, it wasn't just mentorship going on. Let's not ignore what Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, claimed. He said Diddy once sent Usher to the hospital bleeding from, well, you can fill in the blank. And just when you think it can't get darker, there's that old Kevin Hart interview with Diddy where Diddy jokingly says he used to wake up in bed with Usher when they were younger. Back then, people laughed it off, but now, ain't nobody laughing. If Usher was caught up in even a fraction of what's being alleged, he better have his legal team on standby, because the way this case, it is unraveling. It's not looking good for anyone in Diddy's inner circle.
We used to wake up and, pause, but like just back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older,
Let's talk about Jay-Z. He and Diddy go way back, business parties, late night scenes, the whole nine. But where things start getting murky is around a woman named Kathy White. Word online is she was DJ's alleged mistress, and after she got pregnant, she supposedly passed under suspicious circumstances. The streets always whispered about it, but now people think Diddy might have had tapes, maybe even leverage. But that's not the only time Jay's name came up. Remember that lawsuit from a few months back? An unnamed woman accused both Diddy and Jay-Z of sexual assault at a high-profile NYC party right after the 2000 VM. But when the case hit court, it started falling apart. The woman said her dad picked her up after the incident, but he testified he didn't recall anything. She also said she spoke to Benji Madden at the same party, but Benji swore he wasn't even in New York that night. With too many holes and zero solid evidence, the judge had to toss it. Still, that didn't stop the fire from spreading. Jaguar Wright came for Jay Hart, said he's just as filthy as Diddy, maybe even worse, called him the devil. Her words, not mine. And now people are saying if Diddy has receipts, real proof tying Jay to those freak-off events, it's game over.
I have 3 right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim
Keeping people against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. Unconscious. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about him. She doesn't have a picture with him. I'm smarter than Claudia Jordan. I would never take a picture with the devil. Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years.
And who could forget that one awkward Diddy birthday video, him singing to French Montana, both of them covered in baby oil.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear French. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
This is a special birthday for both of us. Yeah.
Now that we know
Who could forget that one weird birthday video? Diddy singing to French Montana, both of them glistening in baby oil. Yeah, back then it felt random.
The irony is, there was a grand jury. We all had to go and speak at the grand jury. J-Lo testified at the grand jury, as did many other people. It needs to be reopened, because if that is in fact the case, she carried the gun in and she lied to the grand jury. It needs to be reopened.
But now that the feds found over 1,000 bottles of baby oil stashed in Diddy's mansion, that video hits different, and it doesn't stop there. Jennifer Lopez got dragged back into the mess too. Back when that infamous club shooting with Shine went down, folks have always said J.Lo knew the full story. Some claim she was the one carrying the gun in her purse that night and then later lied under oath to protect Diddy.
Do all those things. When you give up those things, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing.
Even Elon.
One of the victims, Nota Rubin, who was injured that night, is still fighting. She's asking for the case to be reopened. She's even willing to have bullets fragments pulled from her face just to prove J.Lo's been lying this whole time. She says both J.Lo and Diddy need to be held accountable. And if this case reopens, J.Lo might finally have to face the music.
Yeah, no, it's great. So tell me about your birthday party. Am I invited?
Yes, you're definitely invited. I invite you to all my parties. You just haven't seemed to show up.
No, well, is it on the East Coast?
Yes.
Well, that's why. Why don't you have one here on the West Coast? Because I work all the time.
Okay, well, maybe I have one at your house.
Where's that? Now, what time would your party start, let's say?
That's a different type of party.
It'll
go from like 9:30 to like maybe 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And then, we have the top 2 floors of the hotel.
And then it will carry on there?
Yeah. Then the after party.
No, I know about them.
Now, here's where things get even crazier. Whistleblowers like Katt Williams and Terrence Howard are turning the heat on white celebrities, to the ones who suddenly vanished as soon as Diddy's name hit headlines.
I think part of why Kamala is getting so much support is that if Trump wins, that Epstein client list is going to become public. And some of those billionaires behind Kamala are terrified of that outcome.
Even Elon Musk chimed in. He reposted a tweet calling out Ellen DeGeneres for going radio silent and leaving the US right when this storm started, and he might be onto something. Ellen didn't just lay low, she completely disappeared. New photos show her in a quiet English pub, new hairstyle, new vibe, new identity. She says she moved for peace, but people think she's running. Let's not forget Alan and Diddy were tight. He was always popping up on her show, laughing, joking, talking wild nuts.
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them. There was one moment, so it's not really a party story, but our relationship was really bizarre. So it started over punked, because he was like, yo,
don't punk
you
me.
Can't punk me. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. Everybody's on the table. He's like, not me, I'm off the table. And so that started our conversation. We became fast friends, and we used to just hang out, watch football together.
Back in 2016, she even tweeted, "Happy birthday, Cuddle McNuggle stuff," and added, "Y'all don't need to know why, but now, yeah, people want to know exactly why." She also had a nasty rep behind the scenes for her. Staff accused her of running one of the most toxic sets in Hollywood. Now add in rumors that 2 of her former partners died under strange circumstances, and the internet is asking, was Diddy involved in covering something up? Soon as Joe Rogan broke this all down, Katt Williams came in swinging harder than ever. For years, people clowned Katt, said he was reaching, but now it's looking like he was ahead of the game the whole time.
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there, just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to...
Come on now, dog.
That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh.
Come on, man.
Now I get it.
But he made the entire industry is under a microscope now. Doesn't matter what color your skin is if you moved funny behind closed doors. It's coming out. And yes, Evan Leonardo DiCaprio just made the list. Soon as things got hot, Leo dipped out to Italy, claiming it was a chill getaway with his new girlfriend. But that timing, way too convenient. Especially since old photos just resurfaced showing Leo at Diddy's East Hampton mansion in '98, posted up like it was just another summer day. Now people are wondering, was he just visiting or was there more to the story?
So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands off with somebody. A number of producers coming to make the approach, and you punch them in the mouth, knock their head off for talking to you like, or looking at you like you're a woman. You know, when you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept. So always be the man in the room.
And so who's sitting at the very top of that Diddy party list? Leonardo DiCaprio. And apparently, getting in wasn't hard. Leo was invited, no questions asked. But as soon as things started heating up, Leo's team jumped into damage control, claiming he hadn't talked to Diddy in years. That's when people started connecting dots. Then there's Ashton Kutcher. He's been acting real different lately. His history with Diddy runs deep back in the day. They ran the New York Marathon together, hit up the 2009 White Party, and Ashton even got shaky during his Hot Ones interview when asked about Diddy's infamous parties. He laughed it off, said he had stories but couldn't share. Now it's starting to make sense why.
Never ran into to put on the dress. I mean, you know, you have to have boundaries. You have to have limits that you refuse to cross.
But next thing you know, he's on SNL doing just that, and then his career blew up after.
The new pope is 9-year-old Oscar nominee Kavanjane Wallace.
According to In Touch, Ashton and Mila Kunis are plotting a full exit from Hollywood, planning to start fresh in Europe. Publicly, they're saying it's to take a step back, but the streets are saying it's really to escape the blast radius before Diddy's trial kicks off. And just recently, Terrence Howard dropped a full-blown bomb. His appearance on the PBD podcast blew the lid off. No metaphors, no sugarcoating. He laid it out raw. According to him, Diddy approached him under the guise of a business deal. First it was acting, then studio visits. But it wasn't about music or movies, it was about getting close. Terrence said it was his own assistant who had to spell it out. He's trying to smash. And just like that, Terrence cut all ties and disappeared from the picture.
So, you know, some of us make choices. I think it's not a biggest choice for others. I'm saying at the end of the day, Kevin doesn't have to worry about what people are going to say about him wearing a dress because of the long line of dress wearing people before him. So now we have Big Mama's house 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
I've never seen Medea in a pantsuit. I think she wears dresses. So now I'm saying, why are we picking on poor little Kevin Hart? Because it was his turn next.
Okay.
Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment.
But he didn't stop there. Terrence claimed Diddy wasn't the only one. He said this kind of predatory energy is baked into the industry. When a man walks into the room, he gets treated different. He said, and the moment you push back, you stop getting invited.
Nah, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable with it. That should have been in the discussion. What? You don't feel comfortable with it? I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it.
And trust
That's exactly what happened to a lot of so-called A-listers who refused to play along. Katt Williams backed every word. He talked about turning down $50 million 4 times just to keep his name clean. He straight up said, I was protecting my virgin hole because people don't realize what's really on the table when you chase those deals. According to Katt, Diddy had been trying to get close for years, but he always said no. Then the convo flipped to something folks have whispered about for decades, the infamous dress agenda. This idea that Hollywood pushes black men into feminine roles or dresses before they reach the top. Katt, Terrence Howard and Dave Chappelle have been calling it out for years. Terrence said that's exactly why he got cut out of Iron Man, not because of money, but because he didn't fit the agenda. He wasn't going to wear a dress or play some watered-down version of himself. Katt had a similar moment. He claimed Martin Lawrence wanted him to wear a dress for Big Mama's house. Katt shut it down. He said straight up, you're not looking for me, you're looking for Brandon T. Jackson. And that's who they went with. Katt had the work lined up. The project's ready but the dress. That was the line he wouldn't cross. He even called out Kevin Hart, who once said he'd never wear one either.
And trust the internet has a lot to say. Everybody's gonna come out the woodwork saying, I've never associated with Diddy, yet we all know Hollywood loves Diddy parties. Another said, I hope the Epstein and Diddy lists get released and all these evil people go to jail. Now, as we slide toward that May 2025 trial, this whole thing feels like a countdown. So, what's your take on this wild unraveling? Drop your thoughts below. We're watching it all unfold. And if you're all in for raw truths and bold takes, hit that like, subscribe, and click on that next video popping on your screen now.
But next thing you know, Kevin's on SNL, in a dress, acting goofy, and right after, boom, his career exploded. Katt didn't call it a coincidence, he called it the game. You play along, or they lock you out. Even Dave Chappelle told Oprah the same story. They tried to get him in a dress too. He refused, and right after that, he dipped to Africa. And trust, the internet is buzzing. Everyone's suddenly acting like they were never tight with Diddy. But we all know Hollywood loves Diddy's parties. One person tweeted, I hope the Epstein and Diddy lists drop at the same time. Every last one of them needs to be exposed. As we move closer to May 2025, this doesn't feel like just another case. It feels like a countdown. So what do you think about this wild unraveling? Drop your thoughts below because we're watching it unfold in real time. And if you're here for raw truth and fearless breakdowns, hit that like, subscribe, and click the next video popping on your screen. We're just getting started.